An Xbox handheld is coming, but is it the one we really wanted? As long as I've been making videos and podcasts and everything else about content and gaming, everyone's always asked, hey, when are we going to get an Xbox handheld? And I've always, especially this latest generation, kind of pushed back and said, I don't know if we're ever truly going to get one made by Microsoft. The reason being is that their cloud streaming is now available on everything. If you want a Microsoft handheld, or I should say Xbox handheld, grab yourself an iPhone, grab yourself a backbone, slap them together, or a Razer Kishi, or whatever your favorite attachable peripheral is, and there you go. That's probably about the best we're going to get. Until this week, where Logitech announced the G Cloud. The G Cloud is a Nintendo Switch looking like device that will allow you to stream, and the keyword being stream only, your Xbox games. You can also stream games through NVIDIA's service as well. And so let's dive into the specs, because I asked for your feedback about how this thing kind of came to market and whether or not it's appealing to you, because I held off on making like a true hot take video. And so let's just dive into the details of this product. So as you can clearly see, it looks like a Nintendo Switch, but it's got off-axis thumbsticks, which I vastly appreciate because that's how the Xbox controller is set up. And what are the specs of this thing, you might ask? Well, the specs are, it's got a 7-inch 1080p 16:9 IPS display, only running at 60 hertz though, so that's a little disappointing. Like I said, off-axis joysticks, it's got XYAB button configuration, it has D-pad, it has triggers, it has shoulder buttons, it is a modern controller layout. Now, underneath that glass is the Snapdragon 720G processor. That is an octa-core CPU that runs at 2.3 gigahertz. There is also 4 gigabytes of RAM, that's LPDDR4X RAM to be specific, and 64 gigabytes of storage. While that's not a ton of storage, there is expansion through micro SD slot. There's also USB 3.1 port, there's a 6,000 milliamp battery, and it should charge in somewhere around 2.5 hours. Now, Logitech is claiming, and because I don't have one, I can't validate, that it's going to get about 12 hours of battery life, and it's going to come in at 0.71 pounds or 322 grams, so less than a pound. But crucially, one of the specs that's missing here for a cloud-only device, no 5G. So if you're not connected to your home Wi-Fi, it's going to be a tough play. You're definitely not playing this thing on an airplane, and you might be able to play out in public if you can find fast connectivity, but that's going to be a little dicey. Now, the OS that it is running is actually running Android with a launcher that was built, I believe, by Tencent, or at least they got help from Tencent. And what you can do is you can launch basically an Xbox app, which, by the way, is not some sort of custom app written specifically for this. I believe it's just a PWA, which is very similar to like every other Xbox app that you find. So it's not some custom tailored experience. It's just that Xbox app that we already know and use. And then you can fire it up on this device, and then you can stream your games. Keep in mind, you got to have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. You can stream your games to this device, and there you go. And that's how you're going to use it. Now, one of the interesting things, like I said, I believe it does support GeForce Now, and it supports Microsoft Service. What's really odd is, where's Stadia? Like, this thing isn't owned by Microsoft, and I doubt Microsoft funded the development of this. And considering it supports GeForce Now, or GeForce's streaming platform, it's clearly, hey, this is a cloud gaming device, but the other cloud streaming service that most people know, Stadia, is not there. But then we ask ourselves, what about Luna, which is Amazon's service? It is also not there. So, kind of keep in mind that it's a cloud streaming device primarily going to be used for Xbox, and so that is that. Now, the killer feature of this thing is no feature at all, my friends. It is the price point. If you don't know the price point for this, you might want to sit down, because if you pre-order it only, it will cost you $299 dues, or about 3 mini fridge units. That's a lot of money. If you don't pre-order it and you buy it after it becomes retail available, it will cost you $349. So you're looking at $300 minimum, or $350 plus tax wherever you are. And yeah, that I think is going to be the deal breaker, because for $299, let's just take a generous look at the competition at that price point. Well, you have the Nintendo Switch, which lines up almost identically, but then you could look at the Switch Lite, which, yes, the Switch Lite and Switch for that matter is a different experience because it's Nintendo only. But the concept is the same. You want to play games, except you have the massive benefit with the Switch that you can play it offline. You can play it in an airplane. You can play it in a boat, on a goat, that sort of thing. You could do it the Dr. Seuss method in a box with a fox. You can do it anywhere, but you can't necessarily do that with the G Cloud. And then the other competition, which I actually think is the better comparison, is the Steam Deck. Now, the Steam Deck starts at $399, so you are going to be paying at minimum $50 more or $100 if you pre-order. And yes, the $399 Steam Deck doesn't have all the bells and whistles of the higher end feature or the higher end SKU. That being said, it is significant, like an order of magnitude more capable of the Logitech G Cloud, which is what's a little concerning here, is that if you're looking for that true handheld mobile experience, I think the Steam Deck is a much better buy. And then there's the other thing, that the elephant in the room of, okay, so I truly just want to stream games, and I just want to do it on a high-end display. Well, a 7-inch 1080p 60Hz display isn't it, but you know what probably is? The little thing you're carrying around in your pocket. A phone can do everything this device can, except for the fact that it doesn't have controllers. Now, I've already mentioned it, I've reviewed them on these channels, the Razer Kishi, there's the Backbone product. These things are roughly, and depending on how you buy them, $100, sometimes less than that, and there's even cheaper knockoffs way below that price point that add controllers to it. Or if you have an Xbox controller, you can buy just a little like bracket that snaps onto your thing for like $10-15 that solves the problem. And the phone more than likely is going to have a better CPU and a better display. Like if you're running on a later gen iPhone, you're getting at least 120 hertz. Android phones even higher. And so like the price point is, I think, the Achilles heel for something like this. And then the other question becomes, is a dedicated cloud device something that people actually want? I don't know if that question can be answered yet. I think we will see if people actually want this. The cloud gaming experience from Microsoft is good, but it is absolutely not the same thing as playing locally. It is not going to be the same experience as you would on your console. While these flashy marketing videos make it sound like these people are having a lot of fun, although if you pay real close attention, you can tell that's absolutely simulated because their finger movements do not align up to what is actually happening on the screen. But that's typical marketing. I'm not going to bust them for that because these things were probably filmed months ago before the hardware and software were completed. Of all that being said, but do people actually want a dedicated cloud-only device? I don't think we know yet. And the other question becomes that, the back of my brain is thinking, is this the first wave of cloud-only devices? Let's pretend that this device does sell well, or at least shows that there is a market. We might be on the cusp of actually seeing more of these things come to market, and Logitech could just be an early mover, and from that regard, it could be great. But although the pricing at $299 is tough, because think about the Xbox Series S. Like if you're stuck in your house and this is the only thing you're going to be playing, you're not going to just go buy a Series S. You're going to be better off because it's local. It's like that. I try not to be super pessimistic about this. I'm generally an optimistic person, but I worry about this one actually selling and actually tarnishing the idea of selling cloud-only devices because it's expensive. And this highlights the fundamental problem for many of these companies. Hardware is hard. Hardware is not only hard, it's expensive. And because Logitech is not selling a service on top of this, their margins have to be quite good on the hardware. From Steam's perspective, they can sell you a Steam Deck and they know you're going to buy games through Steam where they make money. They could potentially, and I don't believe they're doing this, but they could actually sell it for at a loss like a traditional console model and then just recapture it as you're buying games, assuming you're going to buy a certain number of games through the device. Logitech, on the other hand, unless they're getting some sort of kickback from Microsoft for selling Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions, which there's a possibility they are, but I can't rule it out. They got to make their money up front, which means that the product can't be sold at basically its cost, which is why the price probably feels so inflated. Now, Nintendo has the same thing. They can sell the Switch for a break even, although I do believe they are making actual money on their hardware because that's the Nintendo way. They're good at doing that, but they also know you're going to buy games. And again, when they know you're buying games, you're going to make more money. Logitech is truly just a peripheral at this point to the service, and it's an expensive one at that. Now, you can also make the argument that gamers will pay for expensive peripherals. Look at the Elite Series 2 controller and the Series Core. Those are $129 up to $79, something like that. And people do buy them. I don't know if anybody is buying the $1,500 4090 that is coming out, but gamers will spend a lot of money on a GPU, and maybe that's the target demographic that they are going for with this product. We will see. I am trying to hope that Logitech really does well with this and they continue to go after this market. But I also think that the price point is going to be just a massive turnoff for just about everyone because there's better options, cheaper if you want to go the Nintendo route. There's better options for just a little bit more of the Steam Deck. And if you're truly just going to be stuck in your house, just buy a Series S, because it's the whole kit and caboodle. It's not just a streaming product. And so Logitech, I wish you the best with the G Cloud. I want it to be a success, but I think there's the lack of 5G, the lack of Stadia, the lack of other services kind of just really muddies up the statement of what this product is actually doing. I'll be curious if anybody's listening, planning to buy one. I would love to know why, and then I would love to. I don't want to attack it. I'm just curious why somebody would buy one when they have a laptop, when they have a PC, when they have a phone, where's my Razer Kishi? Or here's my Backbone. When you have one of these things, like if you're not familiar with the Backbone, I know I referenced it. You just slide your phone in there, and bada bing, bada boom, you got controllers. You have the exact same thing. You've got the off-axis thumbsticks and the controllers, or the buttons. It's got the whole thing. It is connected over Bluetooth, so I guess you could make the argument or through that potentially. Either way, Logitech G Cloud. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you guys plan on picking one up, or what you think is going to happen, or if you think we're going to see more of these devices. You know, Logitech looks like they're trying to do something new here and innovative. I applaud them for that, but we will have to wait and see how it all plays out. And if you want to know how it all plays out, make sure to keep it subscribed here, because the only BS on this channel is me.